Hi guys, so excuse my appearance. I wanted to get this video out this weekend. Today I feel like crud. Look, this is from my outing this weekend where my sunscreen did not work. Luckily my face was saved. I'm not wearing any makeup. I'm not, like, my hair's not washed, nothing, because I slept in this morning and I couldn't hardly move. Like, I'm all red. I've got weird burns. My legs are killing me. The skin was so tight that I couldn't walk this morning and through the night. But anyway, I wanted to get this video out while I still can, because I wanted to do it this weekend. But what I wanted to talk about today is common rabbit illnesses that are possible with your bunnies. The first one I wanted to cover is overgrown teeth. A rabbit's teeth continually grow, and I'm reading a little bit, guys, so that I don't forget anything, so bear with me. A rabbit's teeth continually grow throughout its life, and if a rabbit is not constantly grinding their teeth down, they will end up with their molar teeth forming sharp spikes that damage their cheeks and their tongue. This causes pain that makes them reluctant or unable to eat. The incisors in the front of the mouth can, in severe cases, grow around in a curl, and then rabbits can't close their mouths or eat at all. Once a rabbit stops eating, their gut stops working and they can die. And we're going to roll right into the next one after this, which is GI stasis, which is exactly what that is when the gut stops working. How you can prevent overgrown teeth. 80% of their diet needs to be Timothy hay. It helps wear their teeth down when they eat it as well. Chew toys are also very important. Steer clear of treated toys. If you're going to get any toys that have any dyes in them, make sure that they're pet safe. Natural is perfect. Toilet paper rolls, paper towel rolls, pieces of wood, just making sure they have their hay, anything like that that they can chew on safely to wear down their teeth. Treatment for overgrown teeth is basically a general anesthetic at the vet, and they burr the teeth or grind them down. Hold on one second here, guys. I'm just trying to stretch out my information so that I can see it, but not hide it behind my phone where I'm recording from. So yeah, they're going to grind down the teeth or cut, like the ones that are curled, cut them and file them and make sure, but you don't want to have to do that for your rabbits, because that's, by the time it gets to that point, they're going to already have suffered a lot with painful chewing, painful eating, sores in their mouth. But anyway, going right from overgrown teeth causing GI stasis. GI stasis is a potentially deadly condition in which the digestive system slows down or stops completely. Bad bacteria will then build up in the intestines and release gas into the system. I'm getting texts. I'm sorry, guys. And the gases released into the system cause very painful bloating, and it further decreases the rabbit's motivation to eat or drink. When the digestive system stops working, it can be fatal. GI stasis begins when a rabbit hasn't eaten for about 12 hours. The causes of GI stasis high starch or low fiber diets. So if they don't have enough hay, you're going to run into this problem. Stress can cause it. High stress in a rabbit will cause them to not want to eat when they're really stressed. And obviously, for a prolonged amount of time, if they're not eating, you are going to run into GI stasis. Pain will keep them from eating, especially if it's pain in their mouth. And lack of exercise can cause GI stasis. The things to look for are small or malformed fecal pellets. No fecal pellets at all, because if they're not pooping, chances are they're not eating. Loss of appetite and lethargy, or a hunched posture. Hunched posture would be a sign of pain. Lethargy, just not having enough energy, not eating, very small or absence of pellets, fecal pellets. So you want to make sure definitely that they have a good diet, and that they're getting enough exercise. So their enclosure needs to be big enough. They need to have floor time, all of that stuff to keep their gut moving. Treatment, if you're noticing that GI stasis is setting in, an immediate vet visit when those signs are spotted. The vet will determine the cause of the slowdown of the gut. If there is an underlying condition, it's important to address that. I was having that issue with my very first rabbit when I said that he had hairballs. He had a buildup of hairballs in his intestines. Therefore, he wasn't eating. And I took him to the vet for that so that we could get his gut moving again. That it was basically a diagnosis of that. She didn't really do anything for him other than get some things into him that will help break those hairballs down so that he can then pass them. Which what I did was, since he wasn't eating, I was getting fresh pineapple, because pineapple is acidic, and although not good for them in large amounts, this was an emergency to get his gut moving. So I was putting pineapple juice in his water. And when he drank that water, the acids in the juice that were in the water were helping to break down his hairballs so that he can get his gut moving again. And it did work. The vet may take x-rays to assess the blockage and the presence of gas in the gut. They may administer mobility drugs, which help stimulate movement in the digestive system, which is surprised they didn't do for me. But it worked out that, what I did for him worked. IV fluids to help soften the mass in the intestines. Pain medication to alleviate discomfort due to gas buildup. Syringe feeding of critical care to ensure the rabbit continues to get essential nutrients. And that was one thing I was unaware of back then. Being like 19 years ago, I was not aware of critical care. So that I didn't have that. Antibiotics to combat overgrown or harmful bacteria. Since with GI stasis, when the gut isn't moving, bacteria will build up. Antibiotics are used antibiotics are used with caution because it can kill good bacteria as well. But you got to do what you got to do. The vet is going to determine the safe dosage of antibiotics. Symptoms need to be caught early, or the ability to save your bunny is less possible. So GI stasis is very dangerous. If it's not caught early enough, the chances of saving your bunny is going to be slim. Prevention, like I said, healthy diet, hay and water available 24/7, and plenty of exercise. So yeah, GI stasis is the number one thing you want to look out for. Overgrown teeth will cause it because they won't eat. So you want to keep those teeth weared down. But you definitely want to observe their behavior, make sure that they're not in any pain, because they are experts. They are experts at hiding their pain, because they are prey animals. And in the wild, any sign of weakness, you're being picked off. So being a prey animal, they are going to do the best that they can to hide their illness. So you need to be very aware of your bunny's normal behavior so that you can pinpoint when it changes. Another illness to look out for would be snuffles. Snuffles, I mentioned in one of my other videos. It is an upper respiratory infection, also called pasteurellosis, like the bacteria Pasteurella. My second bunny that I had purchased at the pet store, I had noticed just in my 45-minute drive home from buying her, I noticed symptoms that I didn't know what it was, but I knew it wasn't right. So I had stopped at the vet on the way home, and I was like, I know I don't have a appointment, but she needs to be seen. This isn't good. And she was diagnosed with snuffles. So snuffles is a bacteria that can affect the eyes and the nose, or the bacteria can affect the eyes and the nose for Pasteurella. It will create discharge, redness, squinting in the eyes. Pasteurella can infect other areas of the body as well, including ears, and that can result in a head tilt, abscesses that can be seen as lumps on the body, and uterine infections. For her, it was mainly her nose. She had a lot of discharge from her nose and her eyes, and she would wipe her face. Since they are meticulous groomers, she would clean her face, and she'd have the discharge all over her feet and her legs. She was sneezing a lot. So prevention of this, some strains of the bacteria remain dormant in the rabbit's nasal tract until the immune system is placed under stress. And that can include a new diet, a new pet, new surroundings, and things like that that can place your bunny under stress, which can compromise the immune system. Reduction of stress for rabbits that are infected. Sorry, I'm having a hard time. I have my glasses off so that I don't have a glare, but at the same time I can't read my screen very well. So you're just going to have to deal with the glare of my glasses. Reduction of stress for rabbits that are infected and the quarantine of new rabbits are good ways of preventing the introduction or reoccurrence of the illness. So chances are she got it while she was in the pet store. I mean, I know she got it while she was in the pet store because she had it on the way home. It was nothing that I did that created it. She was already infected. Treatment involves a long, sometimes repeated course of antibiotics. She was on antibiotics in the form of a shot. So I had to literally take a piece, like a roll of her skin in the back of her neck and give her a shot and push the antibiotics in. In regards to any lumps or abscesses, surgery may be necessary. Again, with her, she just had the upper respiratory really bad. And later on, even when she was better, she would still sneeze on occasion, and I talked to the vet about that, and they said she had such a bad case of it respiratorily that she had scar tissue in her nasal passages, and that was just creating her sneezing even when she was okay. So this is, again, something that you really want to watch, because you don't want them to get to the point where it is so bad. I mean, they can die from these illnesses if they're not treated. So, hairballs, again, that's going to be related to GI stasis. It's going to be a cause of GI stasis. Self-grooming will create hairballs. They do not have rough tongues like cats do. Cats have rough tongues to help remove the hair while they're grooming, and therefore they're hacking up hairballs. Rabbits don't have these rough tongues because you don't want them to ingest as much hair, because they are unable to vomit, they are unable to pass gas, anything like that. Their digestive systems just aren't the same as dogs, cats, and people, where we can expel anything that our body doesn't like. So while they are getting hairballs, you know, they have to have a high fiber diet to break that up so they can pass it. And regular grooming if necessary. If you've got a long-haired rabbit, or during molting season, you know, brush your rabbit with a proper brush, because you don't want to damage their skin or anything like that. But sometimes surgery is going to be necessary to remove the blockage, and medication can get the gut moving again. But again, you know, aside from their grooming, you brush them, give them their high fiber diet, and things like that, and you shouldn't have an issue. Now, another illness that can be seen, and this is why spaying and neutering is so important for females, uterine cancer is a common illness. Signs of that would be blood-stained vaginal discharge, blood in the urine, aggressive behavior, mammary gland cysts, lethargy. But just know that if you choose not to get your rabbit spayed, you do run the risk of her developing uterine cancer. Not to mention, she's going to have hormonal behavior because she's going to be intact. I have heard people say that they are against spaying and neutering of bunnies because bunnies have been known to die on the table during surgery. That is rare when you have the proper vet. You can't take your rabbit to just any vet. You can't take a rabbit to your dog vet or your cat vet. They are not trained in rabbit care. So you need to find an exotic vet that can take care of this for you. If you find a well-trained, experienced vet to perform the surgery, your rabbit will be just fine. My rabbit, any rabbit that I've had fixed, has been just fine. So very, very important. Not only will it cut down on hormonal behavior or aggressive behavior, you're not going to run the risk of uterine cancer as well. The prevention of uterine cancer would be to spay as early as possible. If your rabbit is diagnosed with uterine cancer, spaying to try and stop the cancer from spreading is a form of treatment. If that doesn't work, I think at this point that's it. You know, if it has spread, you know, this is something that you're going to have to deal with and make the best choice possible for your rabbit. So my suggestion is to just, you know, take it out of the equation altogether and get your rabbit spayed or neutered as soon as possible. The earliest typically for spaying and neutering is 6 months of age. Milo, I'm not sure when he was fixed. He was fixed when we adopted him, and he's a year old. Hera was fixed just days before I adopted her from the shelter, and she was 8 months when I adopted her. So when it comes to males, testicular cancer is the one that you have to worry about. Signs of that would be swollen or enlarged testicles, weight loss, decreased appetite, And again, prevention would be neutering as soon as possible. Treatment would be neutering as soon as possible to prevent the spread. But if that's already spread, again, this is something that you're going to have to deal with and make the best choice possible for your rabbit. Find out if there's going to be any cancer treatments from your vet. If not, you may have to make the difficult decision of putting your rabbit down so they don't suffer. But take that whole cancer equation, take it out of the equation so that by spaying and neutering, so that you don't have to worry about that, and they're going to have the best life possible that way. They won't be suffering from that. You won't deal with unwanted behaviors like spraying from the males, aggressive behavior from on either side, unwanted babies, anything like that. It's so much better. The potency of the urine in the male is very high when they're not neutered. So again, they get along so well with them both being spayed and neutered in their enclosure. We have not had any issues just in the one afternoon it took to bond them, because they were both spayed and neutered, and they get along great. I think that's all I have for the illnesses that I'm aware of. I had done a search on common rabbit illnesses, and those are the things that popped up. So again, GI stasis is the big one, and GI stasis comes from so many different things: stress, lack of exercise, bad diet, overgrown teeth. All of these things can cause GI stasis, so you need to be very, very on top of these things. Provide them the best diet possible. Provide them enough exercise, a big enough enclosure. You want to make sure that you have all your bases covered in that, so that you don't have to deal with GI stasis, because GI stasis can be fatal if not caught early enough. And overgrown teeth, which will cause GI stasis. Overgrown teeth is easy to combat as long as you provide them enough things to chew on that are safe. Provide them the high fiber diet with the hay. The hay will help keep their teeth worn down. It's just, a lot of it is really common sense. It really is. If you're going to get an animal, provide them the best possible. Just provide them the best possible. And if you can't, you're risking their health and well-being, and it's just not worth it. It's just not worth it. So, yeah, I think that's about all I have. Yeah. So, let's see if we can get some shots of the bunnies here. So right here we have, they're in the lower kennel of their enclosure. I have got to shake those fleeces out. It is a very, very hot weekend, so I'm not looking forward to doing it, but they are just chilling in here. I got to give them some more hay. Yeah, super sweet babies. I have like a ice pack wrapped in a fleece over here so that they can keep cool if they need to. I've provided them a lot of water, which they've been going through like crazy. Right now, the heat index is about 100 degrees outside. So yeah, it is super, super hot. I had such fun yesterday at the women's outing that we went to, where we spent all day on the water and stuff, but I am paying for it now. I am paying for it now, but I wanted to get this video out for you. And I may try and make a better one. I planned a better one, but since now this became more of a rush because it's Sunday today, and I never got it out sooner, I wanted to do that. So this is just basically a very rough video for common rabbit illnesses. I may do another one just to a little bit more of an organized video, and replace it maybe. Or we'll leave this one up and still do another one, because it doesn't hurt to have more than one video on the same subject. So that's, I think, all I have going right now. So again, the common illnesses, overgrown teeth, snuffles, GI stasis, hairballs, uterine cancer, testicular cancer. Those are the main ones that you want to look for. And again, with common sense, the good diet, the plenty of exercise, chew toys, grooming, you should be fine. You should be fine. Snuffles might sneak up on you. You just never know. I had no idea about snuffles until it just happened upon me. I haven't had that issue since, but it is fairly easy to spot because she had the discharge from her nose. She basically looked like she had a runny, snotty nose, and she was wiping it all over the place. So, and plus the sneezing. Make sure you also don't use any bedding. If you use any bedding rather than fleece for litter or for anything like that, do not use pine, do not use cedar. Those are dusty and can cause respiratory problems. Aspen shavings are safe. I don't use bedding at all. I use the fleece. That saves me money. You know, I have to pay for the fleece, but then all I got to do is shake that out, keep that clean. For the litter box, I don't use shavings. I use pine wood pellets, which are very, very absorbent, and we do not get an overwhelming urine smell in the house, which is awesome. So that's what I use. Stay away from anything that's dusty. That excessive dust can cause the respiratory problems, which is why pine and cedar are not safe. But yeah, so I've got plenty of things for them to chew. I don't know if you noticed that at any time either. I've got cardboard tubes in there. They've got their hay when I put that in there, which I'm going to do right after this. Yeah, they got plenty of things to chew on, and they always have hay available. I'm not horribly concerned right now that their hay racks are empty because they do have hay that they knock out of it into their litter box, and so long as they haven't soiled that hay that's on top, they can still eat that. So I'm not panicking right now that their hay rack is empty, because I'm gonna now go and fill that. But again, make sure that they have all of that available. They have full water bowls. Stay away from water bottles. I'll do another video about that as well. The water bottle versus water bowl thing for rabbits. Yeah. So, hope everybody has a great... It is Canada Day today, so happy Canada Day to anybody who is Canadian or living in Canada. I am a U.S. citizen now, but I was born and raised in Canada, so I am thinking about my family as they celebrate Canada Day. And then, if I don't have a video out before the 4th, happy July 4th to everybody. Happy Independence Day for those of you in the U.S. And I will talk with you all later.